A tale of two systems, US democracy versus Chinese socialism. The United States and China stand as titans on the global stage, their contrasting systems of governance shaping not only their own destinies but also the future of the world. The US, a beacon of democracy, champions individual liberties and a government accountable to its people. Elections are held regularly, with power changing hands peacefully between different political parties. China, on the other hand, operates under the firm control of the Chinese Communist Party. This one-party system exercises centralized authority, leaving little room for dissent or political opposition. While the Chinese model prioritizes stability and economic growth, critics argue that it comes at the expense of individual freedoms and human rights. The US system, with its emphasis on checks and balances, aims to prevent the concentration of power in any one branch of government. This system, however, can sometimes lead to gridlock and slow decision-making. China's centralized system allows for swift action and policy implementation, but it lacks the transparency and accountability often found in democratic societies. These fundamental differences in governance have profound implications for how each nation interacts with the world, shaping their economic strategies, foreign policies, and global influence. As the two superpowers continue to rise, understanding these contrasting systems is crucial for navigating the complexities of the 21st century. Economic engines, contrasting approaches to growth and investment. The US and China boast the world's two largest economies, but their paths to economic prosperity have been markedly different. The US, a champion of free market capitalism, relies on private enterprise and minimal government intervention to drive growth. This approach has fostered innovation and entrepreneurship, making the US a global leader in technology and finance. China, in contrast, has adopted a unique model, a socialist market economy. This system combines state-directed capitalism with government control over key industries. China's economic rise has been nothing short of remarkable, fueled by massive infrastructure projects, a vast manufacturing base, and a rapidly expanding consumer market. One of China's key economic strategies is the Belt and Road Initiative, a massive global development program aimed at building infrastructure and strengthening trade ties across Asia, Africa, and Europe. While China has poured billions into BRI projects, concerns persist about debt sustainability, transparency, and the environmental impact of these investments. The US, while advocating for free and fair trade, has been more cautious in its approach to large-scale global infrastructure development. However, there is growing recognition within the US that it needs to step up its game to compete with China's growing economic influence. Hong Kong, a bridge between two giants? Caught in the midst of this US-China rivalry is Hong Kong, a special administrative region of China with a unique history and a precarious future. Once a British colony, Hong Kong was returned to China in 1997 under the One Country, Two Systems framework. This agreement guaranteed Hong Kong a high degree of autonomy, preserving its capitalist system, legal system, and individual freedoms. For years, Hong Kong flourished as a vibrant financial hub, a gateway for foreign investment into mainland China. Its free market economy, strong rule of law, and strategic location made it an attractive destination for businesses and investors worldwide. However, in recent years, China's grip on Hong Kong has tightened, raising concerns about the erosion of its autonomy and freedoms. The imposition of a controversial national security law in 2020 sparked widespread protests and international condemnation. This law, critics argue, undermines Hong Kong's judicial independence and restricts freedom of speech and assembly. The future of Hong Kong hangs in the balance, a litmus test for China's commitment to the one country, two systems principle, and a source of tension in US-China relations. The global stage where the US and China stand. The US and China are locked in a battle for global influence, their rivalry playing out across multiple domains. In the realm of trade, China has emerged as a dominant force, surpassing the US as the world's leading trading nation. China is now the top trading partner for over 120 countries, its vast manufacturing capacity and growing consumer market making it an indispensable player in the global economy. The US, while still a major trading power, faces challenges from China's rise. Trade tensions between the two countries have escalated in recent years, with tariffs and trade barriers becoming commonplace. The Biden administration has sought to address these issues, but finding a balance between protecting American interests and engaging with China economically remains a delicate balancing act. Beyond trade, the US and China are competing for influence in international organizations, technological innovation, and soft power. China is expanding its diplomatic footprint, investing heavily in developing countries and promoting its own model of governance as an alternative to Western democracy. The US, while facing its own domestic challenges, remains a global leader in many respects. Its military might, technological prowess, and cultural influence continue to shape the world. However, the gap between the US and China is narrowing, and the outcome of this rivalry will have profound consequences for the future global order. For decades, the United States has reigned supreme as the world's sole superpower, its military might unmatched. However, China's rapid military modernization is shifting the balance of power, raising concerns about a potential power vacuum and increased global instability. China's defense spending has soared in recent years as it invests in advanced weaponry, expands its navy, and develops its cyber warfare capabilities. While the United States still maintains a significant military advantage, China is closing the gap. China's growing military assertiveness in the South China Sea and its increasingly close ties with Russia are raising alarm bells in Washington and among US allies in the region. The United States is responding to China's military rise by strengthening its own military capabilities and forging new alliances. The Biden administration has made it clear that it sees China as a pacing challenge, requiring a comprehensive strategy that encompasses diplomatic, economic, and military dimensions. The potential for miscalculation and conflict between the two superpowers is a growing concern. Building trust, managing competition, and establishing clear lines of communication are essential for avoiding a catastrophic clash between these two giants. As Section 6 financial fortunes, the dollar versus the yuan. The US dollar has long reigned supreme as the world's reserve currency, underpinning global trade and finance. However, China is seeking to challenge the dollar's dominance, promoting the use of its own currency, the yuan, in international transactions. China's growing economic clout and its efforts to internationalize the yuan are gradually chipping away at the dollar's preeminence. While the dollar is unlikely to be dethroned anytime soon, China's rise is prompting a gradual shift in the global financial order. More and more countries are using the yuan for trade and investment, reducing their reliance on the US dollar. This trend could have significant implications for the US economy, potentially leading to higher borrowing costs and a diminished role for the US in global finance. The Biden administration is aware of these challenges and is taking steps to maintain the dollar's leading role. This includes strengthening the US economy, promoting free and fair trade, and working with allies to uphold a rules-based international order. The battle for financial supremacy between the US and China is far from over, with the outcome likely to shape the future of the global monetary system. Section 7, the Education Edge, nurturing future leaders. The US has long been a global leader in education, its universities attracting top talent from around the world. However, China is rapidly catching up, investing heavily in its own education system and producing a growing number of highly skilled graduates. China is now home to some of the world's top-ranked universities, and its students consistently outperform their international peers in standardized tests. While the US still holds an edge in certain areas, such as scientific research and innovation, China's focus on STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is closing the gap. China's rise as an education powerhouse poses both challenges and opportunities for the US. On the one hand, it creates greater competition for jobs and talent. On the other hand, it also presents opportunities for collaboration and knowledge sharing. The US and China have a shared interest in addressing global challenges such as climate change, pandemics, and poverty. Collaboration in education and research can be a powerful tool for tackling these issues and building a more sustainable and prosperous future. Section 8. Sustainability and the future. Which model will prevail? As the US and China vie for global leadership, the question of sustainability looms large. Both countries face pressing environmental challenges, from climate change to air and water pollution. How they choose to address these challenges will have profound consequences not only for their own citizens but for the entire planet. China, with its rapid economic growth, has become the world's largest emitter of greenhouse gases. However, it is also investing heavily in renewable energy and taking steps to green its economy. The US, while historically a major polluter, has made progress in reducing its emissions in recent years. However, the Trump administration's withdrawal from the Paris Agreement and rollback of environmental regulations raised concerns about the US's commitment to combating climate change. The Biden administration has rejoined the Paris Agreement and made climate action a top priority. However, it faces challenges in implementing its ambitious climate agenda, both domestically and internationally. The US and China have a shared responsibility to lead the world in transitioning to a more sustainable future. Cooperation and collaboration between the two superpowers will be essential for addressing the global climate crisis and ensuring a healthy planet for future generations. Section 9. Conclusion. A new world order in the making. The US and China stand at a crossroads. Their rivalry, driven by contrasting values, economic ambitions, and geopolitical aspirations, is reshaping the global order. The coming decades will be critical in determining whether this rivalry leads to conflict or cooperation. The US, while facing challenges to its global leadership, remains a formidable power with a strong track record of innovation, resilience, and adaptability. China, with its rapid economic rise and growing military might, is a rising power determined to secure its place on the world stage. The future hinges on the choices both nations make. A path of confrontation and conflict would be disastrous for both countries and the world. A path of dialogue, cooperation, and mutual respect offers the best hope for a more peaceful and prosperous future. The US and China have a shared interest in addressing global challenges such as climate change, pandemics, and nuclear proliferation. By working together, they can leverage their combined economic and technological might to create a better future for all. The world is watching. The stakes are high. The time for leadership is now. As the US and China navigate their complex relationship, one area where both nations have shown remarkable prowess is technology. The United States has long been a global leader in innovation, boasting achievements like the creation of the Internet, the development of advanced AI, and groundbreaking work in biotechnology. Companies like Apple, Google, and Tesla are not just household names, they are pioneers pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Across the Pacific, China has rapidly emerged as a technological powerhouse. The nation has made significant strides in 5G technology, quantum computing, and renewable energy. Companies like Huawei, Tencent, and Alibaba are at the forefront of the digital revolution, shaping the future of e-commerce, social media, and smart cities. In the realm of space exploration, both nations are making giant leaps. The US continues to lead with NASA's ambitious missions to Mars and beyond, while private companies like SpaceX are revolutionizing space travel. China, not to be outdone, has successfully landed rovers on the Moon and Mars, showcasing its growing capabilities. Looking ahead, the technological race between the US and China is set to intensify. Both nations are investing heavily in next-generation technologies like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and biotechnology. These advancements hold the potential to transform industries, improve lives, and address some of the world's most pressing challenges. However, this race is not just about competition. There is tremendous potential for collaboration. Imagine a world where American and Chinese scientists work together to cure diseases, combat climate change, and explore the cosmos. The possibilities are limitless. As we move forward, the question is not just who will lead in technology, but how these advancements will be used. Will they drive us apart or bring us closer together? The answer lies in the choices we make today. The future of technology is bright, and with it, the future of our world. While technological advances are a significant aspect of the US-China relationship, another crucial dimension is their military capabilities and strategies. Both nations have been enhancing their military prowess, shaping the global balance of power. The United States has long been considered the world's foremost military power. With a sophisticated array of aircraft carriers, stealth bombers, and advanced missile systems, the US military is unparalleled in its reach and capability. The Pentagon continues to invest heavily in cutting-edge technologies like hypersonic weapons, cyber warfare, and autonomous systems. The US also maintains a network of alliances and bases worldwide, providing strategic advantages in any potential conflict. On the other hand, China has been rapidly modernizing its military, known as the People's Liberation Army, PLA. Over the past 2 decades, China has significantly increased its defense budget, focusing on developing advanced naval capabilities, stealth fighters, and missile technology. The PLA has also been investing in cyber and space warfare, recognizing these domains as critical to future conflicts. China's military strategy emphasizes regional dominance, particularly in the South China Sea, where it has constructed artificial islands and fortified them with military installations. Recent developments in both nations' military capabilities highlight the potential for conflict. The US has conducted freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea, challenging China's territorial claims. Meanwhile, China has increased its military presence in the region, conducting large-scale naval exercises and deploying advanced missile systems. Both nations have also been involved in cyber espionage, targeting each other's military and economic infrastructure. Despite the growing tensions, there is also room for dialogue and cooperation. Military-to-military communications can help manage crises and prevent misunderstandings. Joint exercises and agreements on arms control could pave the way for a more stable and secure world. The military strategies of the US and China will undoubtedly shape the future of international relations. While the potential for conflict exists, so does the possibility for collaboration and peaceful coexistence. The choices made by leaders on both sides will determine whether we move towards a world of increased tension or one of mutual understanding and cooperation. As we navigate these complex dynamics, it's essential to consider not just the immediate implications, but the long-term impact on global peace and security. The future of US-China military relations is uncertain, but it holds the key to shaping a more stable and prosperous world. While military strength and technological advances are crucial components of the US-China relationship, cultural influence and soft power play equally significant roles in shaping global perceptions and alliances. Both nations leverage their unique cultural assets to project their values and ideologies worldwide. The United States has long been a dominant force in global culture, with Hollywood, pop music, and fashion setting trends and shaping dreams across the globe. American universities attract students from every corner of the world, fostering a sense of admiration and aspiration for the American way of life. Icons like McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and Apple symbolize not just products, but the broader allure of American innovation and lifestyle. Through media, education, and consumer culture, the US has built a formidable soft power that promotes democratic values and individual freedoms. On the other hand, China has been increasingly assertive in its cultural diplomacy. The Belt and Road Initiative is not just an economic project, but also a cultural one, aiming to build a community with shared future through infrastructure, trade, and cultural exchanges. Confucius Institutes around the world teach Chinese language and culture, promoting understanding and appreciation for Chinese traditions and philosophies. Chinese cinema and television are making inroads into international markets, offering a glimpse into the rich tapestry of Chinese history and contemporary life. Both nations understand the power of narratives. The US often frames its global role as a defender of freedom and democracy, while China emphasizes harmony, development, and mutual respect. These narratives are not just abstract ideals, but are embedded in cultural products, from movies and music to educational programs and international aid. The competition for cultural influence is not without its tensions. The US often criticizes China's censorship and control over cultural expression, while China views American culture as sometimes too individualistic and disruptive to social harmony. Despite these differences, there are opportunities for cultural exchange and mutual enrichment. Collaborative projects in arts, education, and media can build bridges and foster greater understanding between the two nations. As we look to the future, the cultural influence and soft power of the US and China will continue to evolve. The choices made in cultural diplomacy will shape not only bilateral relations, but also global perceptions and alliances. In a world increasingly interconnected, the ability to project values and foster mutual understanding will be as crucial as military and economic might. The cultural dimension of the US-China relationship is a testament to the power of ideas, narratives, and shared human experiences. It reminds us that beyond the geopolitical and economic rivalries, there is a profound potential for cultural dialogue and cooperation, paving the way for a more harmonious world. As the world faces the escalating threat of climate change, the environmental policies and sustainability efforts of the United States and China have come under intense scrutiny. Both nations, as the largest global emitters of greenhouse gases, hold significant sway over the future health of our planet. However, their approaches to tackling climate change are markedly different. The United States has a history of both leadership and inconsistency in its climate policies. On one hand, American innovation has led to significant advancements in renewable energy technologies, including solar, wind, and electric vehicles. States like California have set ambitious targets for reducing carbon emissions and increasing the use of renewable energy. Moreover, American companies are at the forefront of developing sustainable practices and green technologies. However, the US has also seen periods of policy rollback and withdrawal from international agreements, most notably the Paris Agreement under the previous administration. The current administration has rejoined the Paris Agreement and pledged to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 50 to 52% below 2005 levels by 2030. The challenge remains in balancing economic growth with environmental stewardship, and in ensuring that federal policies are consistently aligned with global climate goals. China, on the other hand, has made significant strides in renewable energy investment and infrastructure. As the world's largest producer of solar panels and wind turbines, China has rapidly expanded its renewable energy capacity. The country is committed to peak carbon emissions by 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. Massive projects like the South-North Water Transfer Project and the development of eco-cities demonstrate China's commitment to sustainability. Yet China's rapid industrialization has also led to severe environmental degradation, including air and water pollution. Balancing economic growth with environmental protection remains a formidable challenge. The Chinese government has implemented stringent environmental regulations and invested heavily in green technologies, but the enforcement of these regulations can be inconsistent. Both nations face significant challenges and opportunities in their pursuit of sustainability. Cooperation between the US and China on climate initiatives could lead to groundbreaking advancements and set a powerful example for the rest of the world. Joint efforts in research, technology development, and policy making could accelerate the transition to a low-carbon economy. In the end, the fight against climate change is a global endeavor that transcends national boundaries. The environmental policies and sustainability efforts of the US and China will play a crucial role in shaping the future of our planet. As both nations navigate their paths towards a sustainable future, their actions will determine not only their own environmental legacy, but also the prospects for global climate resilience. The choices made today by these two giants will resonate for generations to come, underscoring the imperative for bold, collaborative, and sustained action in the face of one of humanity's greatest challenges. As we look toward the future, the trajectory of US-China relations remains one of the most critical factors in shaping global stability. The relationship between these two superpowers is complex, multifaceted, and fraught with both opportunities and challenges. Scenario 1 envisions a path of cooperation and mutual benefit. In this scenario, both nations recognize the importance of collaboration in addressing global challenges such as climate change, pandemics, and economic instability. Joint efforts in research, technology, and policy making pave the way for breakthroughs that benefit not only the US and China, but the entire world. Diplomatic dialogues and trade agreements foster a more stable, interconnected global economy. This cooperative approach could lead to a new era of international relations, characterized by shared goals and collective progress. In Scenario 2, we see a continuation of strategic competition. Here, the US and China vie for dominance in various spheres: economic, military, technological, and cultural. This rivalry drives innovation and progress, but also heightens tensions and the risk of conflict. Trade wars, cyber espionage, and military posturing become more common, straining international relations and creating an unpredictable geopolitical landscape. The world watches closely as the balance of power teeters back and forth, with both nations striving to outpace the other. The third scenario is one of conflict and fragmentation. In this darker vision, misunderstandings and aggressive policies lead to heightened hostilities. Economic sanctions, military skirmishes, and diplomatic breakdowns disrupt global stability. The international community is forced to take sides, leading to a polarized world order. This scenario underscores the dangers of miscalculation and the devastating impacts of conflict between two of the world's most powerful nations. Ultimately, the future of US-China relations will likely be shaped by a combination of these scenarios. The interplay of cooperation and competition, dialogue and discord will define the next chapter in global history. The actions and decisions made by leaders in Washington and Beijing will have profound implications for international stability, economic prosperity, and the collective well-being of humanity. As we navigate this uncertain future, one thing remains clear. The relationship between the United States and China will continue to be a cornerstone of global affairs. Whether this relationship leads to a more cooperative and stable world or to increased tension and division depends on the choices made today. The stakes are high and the world is watching.